documentary world, whether it be Ghost City or Cartel Land. You are a city of ghosts. What experience as a documentarian prepared you for this, and really what caught you off guard? What were you not expecting, or what were you thinking this would be that it wasn't?
So many things, I guess. Walking on set for the first time was my first time ever on a movie set, so that was strange.
Really? Wow.
I didn't understand why we couldn't shoot in 360 degrees and why people needed to go to the bathroom or eat food. So that was strange as well. No, seriously, I mean, a big part of what I tried to do with this film was bring the aesthetic that I, came from, the documentary aesthetic of sort of being open to the story changing and open to those happy accidents. And there's so many scenes in the film that, are obviously scripted, but leaving room for improvisation. And we worked with mainly non-actors, refugees living in Jordan for all the war zones. So when Rosamund walks into the widow's basement in Homes, the women that she speaks to are real women from Homes, telling their own real stories, shedding real tears. So that second woman that she speaks to, when she says, I don't just want this to be words on paper, I want the whole world to understand what we're going through. There's a whole generation that's been lost. That's her speaking to Roz, but that's her speaking to all of us. And so, I tried to, do as much as I could from
So really for all of you guys, this story feels really timely. What with all the access that we have now to battlefields across the world, really, and also particularly the battlefield that we're dealing with now in America against the Fourth Estate. Can you talk about can you talk about the importance of Marie's mission and the film's message and what it has to do today with current events and everything we're dealing with now?
Actually, shall I tell you what I was distracted by? I'm terribly worried that someone had a nosebleed during the film, because I can see this tissue with an alarming it's wine. Thank God for that. Okay, I can now come back on point. Sorry. I think when you make a film, you hope it might have a relevance at the point of time that it comes out, but you just can't predict. And suddenly we found ourselves in the centre of a debate. We found ourselves in the centre of a, Louder. Okay. I can do that.
She's talking loud. Is there any way we can turn the mics up?
And there's a humming in the room. There's a lot of room tone.
Is someone humming?
No, it's a buzz coming from one of the lights, I think. No, I think
it's the buzz for the film.
You always hope a film will be timely, but you can never predict it. And I said that in making this film and releasing it now, we found ourselves at the centre of a crisis for journalists, in that suddenly they find themselves targets in trying to be purveyors of the truth. Everybody, I'm sure, is aware of Jamal Khashoggi's murder. Not in a war zone, but on the streets or in a prominent building in Istanbul. There's a chance that journalists will take courage from this state of affairs and realise how important it is to continue to pursue their missions to get truth from the darkest places on earth. But I think it's wonderful for a story about Marie that we can shine a spotlight on really what a journalist does and what the cost is of getting a story. I think it's particularly gratifying that we have, thanks to Matt, chosen to tell a story that's not just about the gung-ho, adrenaline-seeking, thrill-seeking war reporter, which, perhaps might have been the substance of a film of yore, but really to explore, yes, the fierce pursuit of a story, but also the cost of that pursuit on someone's mental health, of someone who prioritizes giving voice to the voiceless over her own health, sanity, and well-being.
What was the question?
Just the question of, can you talk about the importance of Marie's mission and?
But I think, listen, as Ross said, it's, Matt said something recently when we were doing Q&A about movies being timeless and timely at the same time, and it's certainly not for us to say that this is timeless, but I think we're within our rights to think if it's timely or not. I do think it's timely, and it's not just about the situation of journalism, which is Roz is covered on, and that's very prominent, but also with regard to what Marie and Paul and Remy and the likes were reporting on, there's a statistic at the end of the movie comes up that says there were 500,000 civilians who died in Syria since Marie's death, so things aren't getting any better, and that's the hardest thing I feel that people take from this, and certainly that I take from it is that, and what I imagine Marie was still around, she would take from it, that all this hard work and all this literally risking everything to tell the truth, and here we are, 6 years later, and the situation's not any better, and that's a shocking statistic.
And for Matt, as I read about you, I couldn't help but feel a sort of kindred spirit between you and Marie Golden, and is that maybe something that drew you to this project? Something that initially was your big.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I first read an early draft of the script, it spoke to me in such a profound way. I've been in conflict zones, I've been in shootouts and meth labs and torture chambers, and I've been around people who are suicidal and a lot of really intense situations, and so I felt that same draw to want to cover these stories, but also that really bizarre thing of coming home the next day and going to a party in New York City, and what that does to you, and how those thoughts stay with you, and also the guilt to some degree, the guilt of, take for example Cartel, and the guilt of having a blue passport and being able to come home, whereas all the local journalists have to stay there. Dozens and dozens of journalists in New Mexico have been killed. So what privilege do I have to come home? So yeah, I think so much of what she went through over a much longer period of time in many, many more war zones, I could empathize with. And for me, I really did not want to make this a biopic. I wanted to make it much more of a sort of psychological thriller to try to understand that psychology of what pushes someone to do this, but also what that does to them.
And then for you guys, obviously, A Private War is a reference to the inner pain and sort of drive that we all feel. So what drew you to the project? And while obviously not to the extreme that Marie battled with her war, but do you guys feel that you have your own private war that you are dealing with in the process of doing what you love? While it might not be combat journalism, maybe in this business.
I think a lot of actors share the feeling that to delve into a character, to dive into somebody else, a sort of intense meditation on someone else's life, if you want, is an escape from yourself, which is a happy relief, I think. And I think Marie felt something similar in the deep empathy that she had with civilians the world over. I think she found a kind of break from the chaos of her home life. Her home life, she wasn't an organised person. She found handling receipts, day-to-day bill paying, handling her finances incredibly difficult. For someone who was so sort of, die hard straight in her mission, it seems strange to some people that home life was chaotic, but it was, and I think she found relief in focusing intensely on others. And I think that's something that's shared by a lot of actors. And I think there's something in the way that the stakes are clear and life is reduced to simplicity as when you're in a war zone. And your mission is clear and you feel like you're making something worthwhile, you're doing something worthwhile. Occasionally we get to have that feeling, not always, but sometimes you feel that you're doing something that's really worthwhile. And in this case, that was certainly the case for me. I mean, it was a real exercise in disappearing. I wanted to give Matt the chance to make a film about Marie that was as like he might have made a documentary about her, you know, and so he could examine her in the way that he might had she been alive. And I hope that it will mean that a whole lot of people like you might go out and read about her now and maybe discover some of her journalism, or you know, look up a period of history that might interest you and find what she wrote about it. Because it's really worthwhile, whether it's, you know, stuff on Bosnia or the interview she did with Gaddafi. I'm talking about his snakeskin shoes and his high heels, or trying to take her blood the first time he met her, and sending a Bulgarian nurse to her hotel room with a large hypodermic needle. They're all really worth reading. She found amazing stories. So not only the kind of truth of the suffering humans of the world, but also some truths about the great leaders too.
All right, well, since you brought up Matt, we're going to talk about him for a second like he's not here. So Matt obviously comes from a documentary film world, and this is his first feature film, which, I mean, is an incredible accomplishment for any first-time director in a feature film. What do you guys feel was his approach, and how was that different to any other director who may have a more feature film background approach?
I mean, I think, you know, probably speak for Roz and I that, like, you know, that was so refreshing to us, that someone who is only, I mean, so much of making movies is about trying to tell the truth, and sometimes it's harder the more sort of fictional things become, and the more sort of, you know, unrelatable things become, that, you know, sometimes movies are so heightened that it's very hard to sort of access them. But with Matt, come from a documentary background, and his only goal in life is trying to tell the truth of every situation. To apply that to a narrative film situation, as an actor, I think we found so comforting, you know, and we never had any doubt that he would sort of bring out the best of us and the best of that situation, if that was the common goal, was to tell the truth and to try to show. And by the way, it mirrors what the situation was with people like Marie and Paul. They were just out in these situations trying to tell the truth, and sometimes these things are, you know better than anyone, like these things are, Hollywood can mold things into whatever they want to be and exasperate things into things that are hard, unpalatable and hard to take on board. And very early on, I felt with Matt that there's a strong desire to keep it grounded and tell the truth, and you know, not exploit anyone or anything, just give the reality of the situation. And that's all we're doing as actors ever, is trying to tell the truth. If there's an existing truth that's available, then is there any better person to put your faith in than someone who has done that for a living, trying to tell the truth? Whereas other times you make movies that are purely entertainment and, you know, and escapism for 2 hours or whatever it is, and you accept that and you go along with that. But now and again something comes along where someone wants to pinpoint something, a particular piece of history, and tell it to the most truthful version of itself. So to be involved in that, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me, certainly, from the start.
Matt interviewed, you know, you might not realize, but Matt interviewed every background player in our movie. You know, that's not how it's normally done. Normally a second assistant director will compile a list of background players for that day from headshots. We were filming in Jordan, and Matt interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people whose life stories tallied with the stories we were trying to depict in the film. So for instance, in the clinic, when we recreate the footage that Marie showed on CNN with Anderson Cooper of the little boy dying, you know, that man that Matt asked to play the father was a man whose 2-year-old nephew was shot off his shoulders in Homs. And so when he came in and saw our little boy and carried that child in onto the bed, and the doctor, who was a real doctor, said that you know, the child wasn't going to make it. The grief that man. I mean, I think probably he wasn't even prepared for, to be honest. You know, that's what the truth of the situation, which is what you're always hoping for as an actor, will carry something bigger than you out of your body and make the scene. And it certainly did in the case of that man. I mean, for Jamie and I, it was a sort of atmosphere I don't think either of us will ever forget. It was a room erupting with grief, and it was very, very painful indeed. And you know, it's rare that a movie can put that on screen, because we had Matt and we had Bob Richardson, the legendary cinematographer shooting this movie, you know, who you'll know from Oliver Stone's movies and Tarantino's movies and, you know, Scorsese, yes, and, you know, he came with us on this adventure in the Jordanian desert and was just there, ready to dive into that man's soul, because, you know, he's a master, and so he captured that, and that's what's in the movie, because that doesn't happen again, you know, that's, and I think, you know, if anything defines Matt as a director, he's prepared to go with the spontaneity of a moment, or the happy accident, or let a scene evolve as it happens in the room. You know, you have a certain plan, but if you stick to the plan, maybe you haven't paid enough attention along the way.
And Rosamund, you, I mean, obviously Marie wasn't able to be there with you while you guys were shooting this movie, but for Jamie, you know, your character, he was able to be there every day. I mean, he was there, from what I read, he was there every single day that you guys shot this movie, right?
He wouldn't leave, actually.
Yeah. So I guess my question for Jamie is, what was that like, having the character that you are portraying? Because I obviously want to ask, you know, the two actors here, what it was like playing real people, and then also, what's it like playing real people, or a real person who is there on set every single day? Is that an opportunity for you to ask him what was going on here? What did you feel like? What was going on? Or was that a weird dynamic where you're like, look, dude, I gotta do my job, and you're here, and I know you were actually there, but this is our movie. So what was that? What was it like for both of you playing real people, and also Jamie specifically? What was it like playing a real person who was there?
I think for me, it's a balance. Like, every single thing in life is a balance. It's like, you can take so much from that, and having that opportunity to, no one knows what those situations that we're trying to depict are like, better than Paul Conroy, who I play, and to have him there constantly was incredible, like, resource for us as actors, and Matt as a director, and the whole crew as a crew, to have that support was incredible. But also, he's the fourth person I've ever played who's a real person, and the first person who's still alive, and that's something in itself. And to play someone who truly existed and is still alive, and not only alive but omnipresent on set, it has its whole set of challenges. The first day I said,
Oh, he was there from day one.
Mate, day one. Yeah. And I was like, you can't be there. I can't have you there at the monitors with a set of cams on.
Did he just pull up a chair in Video Village and was like, this is my new home now?
No fairness to Paul. I wish he could
He's invited.
I wish he could be here to defend himself. Paul actually can't be. He's not allowed in America, so he can't be with us tonight. He's done a lot of the press with us in Canada and in the UK, but if you've been in Syria in the last 10 years, you can't come to America. So he's not able to be here, but he came out as a sort of advisory role. He's meant to spend like a week or two with us, and ended up spending the entirety of the shoot with us, which for me, selfishly, was unbelievable. And not only for me, for all of us, was incredible to be able to have access to his mind for all of us. But he was, what was that? No, it was.
Play back from what you just said.
Let me see. But like that access to him, and his openness and willingness and support to give us that access was unbelievable. And hopefully, and we've had his support the whole way through this, and it's funny, we're all so close with him now. but it's nothing but a good thing, apart from day one where I was like, I don't want to.
So, I mean, as everyone can attest who just saw this film, it's a really intense film, and it deals with a really intense subject matter. So, I've in my experience, a very intense film certainly involves a very intense shooting process. So this is really a question for all of you guys. What was each of your most intense day on set?
I think every day.
Yeah.
Every day was a obviously a new experience for me. In Jordan especially, where we shot all the war zones, so Jordan was Sri Lanka, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and Syria. We weren't able to shoot in a linear fashion. We were constantly moving basically every single day, in a new location every single day. So that was quite difficult. But I think shooting that final scene just emotionally was really, really intense. That was sort of near the end of shooting Jordan, and I wanted to do a moment of silence for Marie and for all those Syrians who've been killed since her death. And it was really emotional, and one of our stunt guys and one of our extras came up, these are big, strong men, came up bawling, crying, and gave Paul a hug and recognized him from the media center, from Holmes. And it was a really emotional day. I mean, so much of the shoot was emotional, so it's hard to say that was the hardest day per se, but that's just what came to mind, I guess.
There were a number. One was the clinic, which I've already told you about. One was, I think, recreating that broadcast that Marie gives to Anderson Cooper. I think because, Paul was there, he had a premonition really that once that was over, all the chips were down, and that, the reason they did that broadcast was because Marie was pretty sure that she wasn't going to make a written deadline for the Sunday Times. And that motivated her decision to speak out, on the news. And I think, everyone has heard that voice of calm over the airwaves, but no one had put an image to it. And I found it sort of, I was impressed by this woman from the word go, but the idea that she is, speaking from the heart, while the building she's in is crumbling around her, and keeping her cool and sending that message out and saying that Assad is a liar, and while she knows that the end is coming. Really, I kind of gives me shivers now, and I think it was a privilege to put a window on that, a visual window on that. But then there were other intense moments which were done in private, were the moments where Matt wanted really to go deep into the PTSD that Marie suffered, and often he would not exactly spring them on me, but kind of spring them on me. So there might have been a line in the script sort of about Marie typing up her story, and that would seem to quite an easy bit of the film. And then in fact, that would be I think this is going to be you, me, Bob Richardson, sound in a room, and I just think we're going to take an hour to just I'm going to lock off the camera, and I want you to fully process what we saw in Iraq. I want you to process and try and write the story, but think about everything. And by that time, my brain was flooded with images. I mean, we had sort of just a deluge really of experiences. So, dark thoughts come easily then. And I didn't know what my body was going to produce. You've been in those situations. You don't know what's going to come out if you really let yourself go. And that's why, there's not often that you actually have the trust in a director. There's a lot of talk about trust in our business, but it's not often you don't always have the trust to actually let yourself fully go. And I did in this one with that. So that's scary too. It's a different kind of intensity, but it certainly is an intensity.
Jamie, your toughest day?
No, I did to add on to the thing of final scene that we see in the movie, the depiction of Marie's death and Remy's death and Paul's wounding. Yeah, by that stage, I mean, Jesus Christ, we were mostly wrought by that stage. I mean, we were genuinely, I may never do a job again in my life where I'm so, I find this experience so cathartic, and, you know, I, in some way or another, I think there were tears every day on set. Like, I mean, honestly, genuinely believe that. But particularly by then, and it meant so much at that point to so many people at every level of the crew, and we had real Paul Connery, who I depict in the film, by this stage was one of our stills photographers on the job, so he was like in the rubble trying to take photographs of someone depicting the death of his best friend and another very good friend, and you know, near death of himself. I mean, that is, it can't get any better than that. You know, it was crazy, and you know, we had a chat with him, and I told him to take the next couple of days out and get out of there, and that whole, we shot that over a few days, and it was for me definitely sticks out as the hardest thing we shot, and particularly for me personally, because I had given, I thought, just honestly, everything I had, I was bereft of emotion, everything, and energy, and I was wrecked, and I thought I'd given everything, and then me crawling back through the rubble to find Remy dead first, and then Marie dead, and I was so wrecked. I thought, oh my God, thank God that's over. My body can't take any more of this, or my mind, or my soul. And then Matt came up to a slight focus issue with that last take. And I was like, what? I said, yeah, no, we didn't. It was slight out of focus again, so we just got to do like you crawling through the rubble again. And so that was it. So the one that's in the movie is obviously the last one I did after the fact that I got it right. But then I managed to muster something up, but I guess it just shows how emotionally sort of fragile we were at that stage, that I could produce more tears. It was. I maybe will never experience anything like that on a film set again.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you all for going through something like
So, thank you, Rosamund Pike. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Matt Heineman. Thank you all for coming and watching this.